Dear test patients, welcome. Today I'm going to explain how to create a tech house track. So, without further ado, let's dive into it.
Tim Hox.
So test patients, welcome. Today we are going to explain how to create a tech house and how to produce that. I'm having the project of Synth in front of me, and at that project we are going to explain how to create that sort of vibe, that tech house vibe. So so the thing is, also don't forget to stream it. The streaming link is in the description. If we look closely, the thing is with tech house most of the time is it needs to have a groove and everything needs to work with each other. So what we start with is just a simple beat. So this beat needs to have that, and you think, okay, yeah, it gets there. So after that, there's coming in a new hi-hat groove. You can hear it. If you have this simple thing, just that simple thing, it creates that sort of vibe to it. It's the basic thing of a tech house thing, of a tech house beat. Afterwards, you put in some percussion to make sure that things sound, that things sound nice and that things have that sort of vibe in it. So I just put in the percussion. It creates a deeper dimension. So I'm going to let you look into the mixer channel, of course. And most of the time, let's take a look. It's just a simple percussion thing. Just cut off all the bass because everything of the beat, they don't need any bass. So this hi-hat doesn't have any bass as well. No, it's even that, and we have a clap. Really simple clap. It's yeah, you just look at it. Oh wait, fuck. If we look at the mixer channel, of course, there's a EQ on it that cuts out all the bass because a clap doesn't need any bass, and there's a proximity plugin. This plugin makes sure that something is a little bit more stereo. So I think that I like that some things are a little bit more stereo, because otherwise your beat just sounds a little, I think a little mono, and you don't want that. So maybe it's good to show you how the bass line is done, because the bass line is just a really simple, and you don't need to overdo that. You need to know the bass line is just to complement the beat. So if you look at the bass line, it's really deep, but it still has that vibe to it. So it's a little bit poppy, just it pops out a little bit. And if you look closely, I'm gonna show it what it is. So it's our two serums. One is more, it's called boomy, but it has a little bit of that pop to it. It sounds a little bit like an 808. I cut off everything. This is without the FXs, and if we look closely, the Camel one, it's a preset. It's called British Clean. I already told something about British Clean, that preset, but you can hear it. It gives a little bit more. As well, a Fab Filter Saturn. I just put in the basic saturator and I put down the highs because I just want the bass pop out a little bit more. And then after that you have, of course, an EQ, because I just wanted to have that sub, and I don't want any highs to it, because I want an other high to it. So I want an other high to it. So here's the, yeah, just look at it. I just cut off the highs and I put down a little bit of the sub because it was too much otherwise. So the other one is the one that you hear and feel a little bit. So you can see it. It's between hearing and feeling. It's also have that British clean, and yeah, you can see I cut all the bass out and I cut all the high out, but I kept the mid, and that's the between the feel and the bass, between the feel the bass that you feel, and between the things that you hear. So it gives it a little bit more body, and together combined it sounds like this. But that's not all of it. I'm gonna show it. Look at this. No, that's not one. This one. Look at this. It has other things to it, and those are just simple steps, just simple bass steps, and they are all wide. They're really wide and they really complement the bass line. But as you can see, and as I already told, I put them together on a bus and put on an OTT on it to glue them together. Yeah, you can just copy this, and yeah, if you want to. The fruity balance is for the sidechain as well, and this one. Oh wait, need to. I totally forgot that. Where is it? Oh yeah. So you just make sure that the bass is all the way. There is no bass in the intro, so that's the automation of the EQ. So together it sounds like this. You have the vocal cuts, of course, and you have the sort of affixes. But let's dive into the main synth, because the main synth creates the groove. I started out, well, what I was telling, I started out with just this one. Wait, I started out with just this one. Yeah, it's just, yeah, a sort of percussion that's with a lot of things on it. This is without the affixes. Yeah, you can hear the difference a lot. So what did I do? I put on an EQ on it because I thought there's needs to be no bass, and the reason why I do that is because if you put on distortion, it always distorts the low frequencies as well, and I didn't want that, because sometimes you get maybe a sort of sound that doesn't sound nice. I don't want to focus on that sound, so afterwards I put the British clean as well on this one. I really love that thing. Then you have this, yeah, the bridge crusher. It gives that sort of, that it's a bit crackling sound. Another thing, I just put an EQ also on it as well, because sometimes if you do distortion and a bridge crusher on it, it gives it a little bit bass as well, or a little bit sub. So I cut down all the unnecessary frequencies we needed. Then I use a dimension expander to create a little bit more of a dimension to it, to make it a little bit wider. And then I had this transient processor, and transient processor makes sure that it pops out a little bit more. So you can see it pops out a little bit more, and then you have the sidechain, of course. But if you can see closely, it's going to another channel, and this channel is the same as what we have with the bassline thing is the same we have with the bassline, an OTT to make sure to glue it together, because there's another synth as well. And that synth is, oh wait, that synth sounds like this. Yeah, it's a serum. Wait, it's a serum, just a serum, and the other one is also a serum. And they sound, yeah, if really, this is how it sounds without FXs. Really different, of course. So let's dive into that as well. I cut as the same. I cut the EQ as well. So the low frequencies. I did the British clean as well on that as well. I wanted to give it a little bit more dimension, so I put on a Valhalla reverb, a Valhalla room, and to create a sort of wideness as well. And a really short reverb, but it creates a little bit more of a dimension to it. I bit crushed that as well. I put in an EQ to cut out what I was telling, because if you put a reverb on it as well, it gives that sort of low frequencies that you don't want. Then you have the dimension expander to make it a little bit more wider. This one is as well to make it a little bit more wider, because this one is for the layering, just layer it. Then you have the transient processor to pop it out more. You can see it, the release is all the way down and the attack is all the way up. And then you have the, of course, the compressor, the fruity balance to make sure that it's sidechaining. So together it sounds like this. Really simple. But Tim Hawks. And you can see over here I used a lot of things to make sure that you have this variation. You look at this, and of course, if we click over here, make sure that it's, yeah, you give that sort of extra dimension as well over here. Bomb bomb. You make the reason why tech house is really simple sometimes. It sounds simple, but it isn't. Is because of the variations that you use. You need to make sure that it sounds simple in the beginning. That's the basic, and afterwards you create something else. You create the variations. You try to make sure that every beat is something different, but it's still the same. And the second drop, of course, it's really, it makes that. And you notice it, it's a little bit different, but it's still the same. So people recognize it, and people will make sure that they dance to it. Unfortunately, this is all I'm gonna show to you guys, because I think when you look at this and what I did, it makes sure that you can see, okay, I need to focus on these kind of things, because most of the time people don't explain it and why they do it, and you can see it over here, of course. Yeah, I think this was it for this week. Next week I will be back, of course. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the notification bell, leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you next week again in the next video.